Hey guys! So today we are talking about what kind of camera equipment is in my camera bag on a wedding day. So I have to say that being a YouTube watcher as well as YouTube video maker, I absolutely love these kind of videos. I always think it's really fun to see what kind of equipment different people use and how they can use their tools to execute a particular image. I especially think it's really fun when somebody uses a piece of equipment that is not necessarily one that everybody else uses. So whether that's a different type of lens or a different type of lighting gear. I just always think it's really neat to see that people have some sort of variety in what they shoot on and shoot with. My kit, my whole camera bag has been progressively getting filled for the last 7 years. Definitely the equipment that I carry now is not the equipment that I carried even 2 or 3 years ago, just because, as we all know, lenses are expensive, cameras are expensive, and you just do what you can. So the first thing I want to talk about is my actual camera body. Currently, I am using the Canon 5D Mark III. I actually have 2 different camera bodies that I have. Previous to this, I was using the Mark II, and then previous to that, I was using a super basic camera. So I think it's important to note that I do have 2 camera bodies that I bring with me to my weddings. Having a backup body is really important, if possible, to have on a wedding day, because if you drop your camera or something happens, it malfunctions, it's really important to know that you are covered, that you can still capture something. So my literal workhorse for the wedding day is a lens that not a lot of photographers use. It's actually a videographer lens, but I absolutely love it. It is the 24-105 4.0. So I know what you're thinking, 4.0, ugh, just no bokeh, no good creamy bokeh. Yes, but this lens for me is an absolute must on the wedding day. With the 24mm, it's super wide. I can get room shots. I can get very wide group shots. If there is a group of family at the reception that's like, we want a group photo and there's only 25 of us, I don't have to like be across the room yelling and directing in a very tight space. I can actually just open it up pretty wide, capture the photo for my clients, and everybody's great. The nice thing about it though is that it does go to 105. So if I am on the wrong side of the room when something's starting to happen, or if there is a beautiful moment going on and I am a little bit far away, I can zoom and get to it. So I have noticed that this is actually one of the lenses that I use most on the wedding day. There's definitely one thing you have to understand about my photography. Everything that I do on the wedding day, I do for convenience, and I do to make sure that I can capture everything that my client wants. The workability of this particular lens is very convenient for me. I don't have to have a 24-70 and then a 70-200 where I'm having to switch out if I need something in that middle ground. But it is just so convenient and wonderful to have, and definitely probably my favorite lens. Definitely probably. Yeah. So for portraits with the couple, I'm generally using one of 2 lenses. It is either the 50mm lens or my 35mm, and I love both of them. Both have really great bokeh on them. There are so many wonderful options with each. It's just that the 50mm is a little bit closer, while the 35 gives me a lot more of the environmental portraits. So I do try to give my couples a great variety of both. Another thing that the 50mm is really great at is a lot of detail shots. You're getting really wonderful bokeh on that, but it's just a nice lens to have if you don't have any kind of a macro lens. This will get you some wonderful detail shots. You'll be able to get close enough. Even if you're not getting like right on top of a ring shot, you will definitely be able to get some wonderful photos with a 50mm. This was a relatively inexpensive lens for me. I've never even upgraded it just because it works great for me. I think this lens was like $320, $350, something like that. So I've had it probably for about 3 or 4 years, and I love it. I don't feel the need to upgrade right now, but this one is wonderful. So my next lens is the 100mm macro that I have. It goes down to 2.8. I absolutely love it. It really gets in tight into all of my details. So if I have ring shots, any kind of jewelry shot, sometimes if there's like finer details on shoes or even on a wedding dress, I'll pull it out and I'll use that. It actually can be a really fun lens to bring out in a reception also, because it has the 2.8 and and it has some depth. It really crushes it with that bokeh, and I absolutely love it. There's an image stabilizer, so sometimes you can make sure that you can get really great crisp images if you're coming at it from afar. But sometimes I will even use that to like photograph a cake or photograph a centerpiece. You do have to have some room sometimes where you're not necessarily on top of it like you would be with a 50 mil or a 35 mil, but it is definitely a fun lens to try out sometimes during the reception. The reason I bring that up is because it seems like an excessive expense if you really are only using it for like an hour every wedding. Try different things. I would love to see what you guys can come up with. Like I said, I've brought it to receptions, and sometimes you can get really fun details of the reception that you wouldn't normally create. The final lens that I do keep in my kit is this big bad boy, 70 to 200 2.8. This is actually my newest lens in my kit. I actually purchased it this season. Prior to that, I was using the 70 to 200 4.0. The price difference on those two is about $1,500. So when I had purchased the 4.0, it was about $750. This bad boy is, I think, a little bit over $2,000. I just bought it and I don't even remember how much it is. But this is not a lens I use every single wedding, but I have noticed more and more that it is something that I go to, especially if you're working a church wedding where you do have restrictions about places that you can go in that church. It's really nice to have some sort of a lens that you can put on your camera that you can make sure that you're still able to accurately capture all of the wedding and all of the important things happening in that wedding. This lens is a fantastic option if you do want to stay off in the wings, if you want to stay further back down the middle aisle, still capture whatever's there to be captured and not necessarily be a distraction to everyone up front all in the way. If you find yourself not booking a lot of church weddings where you do have high restriction, I would not start off with the 70 to 200. If you do start off with it, try to go with the 4.0. It's only about $750, $800 brand new with the image stabilizer, while this particular lens with the 2.8 is a hefty sum, right up there on that $1,500 to $2,000 mark, right about there. The final piece of camera equipment that I'm generally bringing on my wedding day is my Canon 600 flashes. Most of the time I am carrying 2 to 3 of these bad boys, and I don't use them a lot throughout the day. I'm generally using natural light during my getting ready photos, my details, and my ceremony. I will pull these out during the reception. In the last 2 seasons, I started using off-camera flash, so the 600s are really great with this. Rather than having transmitters that need to connect your flashes, the 600s actually connect wirelessly together. So I will have one flash on my camera, and that will be wirelessly connected to 1 or 2 flashes throughout the room. Understanding flash should be on top of your priority list. You are a paid service provider to come to a wedding to take photos, and it's important that you capture the images accurately. I look back even in some of my older portfolio and I see some of my reception images before I started understanding flash more, and it kind of makes me a little bit sick to my stomach actually to even look at some of those photos because the lighting was just not accurate, or it was really extreme, it was too bright, it was too dark. And we all have to go through that. There are different challenges that come our way. From mine was flash, definitely. But once I started incorporating that in my weddings on a regular basis and then moving to off-camera flashes as well, it's just been so much easier. There are still challenges. Every single wedding venue is different. Every single church is different. So understanding it as you go, being able to problem solve accordingly, that will all help. I cannot recommend it enough to get a flash on your camera, start practicing, implement it into your business, because you have to make sure that you get images and the reception is part of that day. So you got to capture that reception even if it's dark and there are crazy lights from DJs, and let's just not talk about the DJ lights right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously there are more things that I carry in my camera bag besides just equipment. Things like stands, reflectors, lighting domes, camera cards. So let me know if you guys would love to see any of that or be interested in what else I carry. Also, if you're interested in the camera equipment that I use during my engagement sessions or fashion blogger sessions, I would love to make a video about that too. So just leave a comment down below and let me know. As always guys, I would love for you to carry on the conversation with me at our Facebook group, All Things Wedding Photography. I have that link down below. Additionally, I have all of the camera gear we talked about today linked down below, so feel free to check that out. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.